Michael goes on the Oprah Winfrey Show and tells 62 million Americans that he doesn't bleach his skin, doesn't use products to do that.
But evidence found at the crime scene shows this wasn't true. Jackson spent large amounts of money on a skin bleaching drug called Benequin.
It turns out that Michael had been getting treatment for his vitiligo from a doctor called Arnold Klein for about 25 years.
Based in Beverly Hills, Klein was the dermatologist to the stars. His other clients included Elizabeth Taylor, Carrie Fisher, and Sharon Stone. Klein recommended this lotion to Jackson when they first met. It prevents dark pigment being made in areas unaffected by vitiligo. For half of his life, Jackson had been bleaching his skin. And the king of pop was fixated with his appearance.
There were several scars on his face and neck that are typical of previous plastic surgery, and he'd had a cleft inserted into his
Known as Wacko Jacko, was public property. But the autopsy reveals he did manage to keep one secret from the media for 25 years.
Jackson's hair is not his own. He's wearing a wig. It's held on by semi-permanent glue, and there's some sparse areas of his own hair on the sides and the back of his head.
Other than these patches, the king of pop was almost entirely bald. Despite being a tabloid target, he had kept this hidden for over a quarter of a century.
His scalp reveals the reason for his baldness. There's an area of scarring on the top of the back of his head, and this scarring is consistent with a burn.
In 1984, Jackson was at the height of his powers. His album Thriller had become the biggest-selling album of all time. Filming a Pepsi commercial with his brothers would mark the start of his decline, when a pyrotechnic device set fire to his hair. He suffered severe second and third degree burns to his scalp, which left him needing to wear wigs for the rest of his life.
Michael never recovered from that. The Pepsi incident changed Michael's career forever. Michael became extremely self-conscious about his appearance. He became extremely paranoid about the people around him. He felt damaged, he felt hurt, he felt betrayed.
The accident also triggered a habit that would eventually claim his life. Recovering from his injuries, he became hooked on painkillers. These were gateway drugs that led to multiple drug addictions.
A gateway drug is something that you can buy over the counter. And because they're so hugely available, it means that people who may be susceptible to wanting to take harder drugs can get involved in that process. So you may start on paracetamol, and then you may lead up onto much more dangerous drugs.
Over the years, Jackson also became dependent on sedatives, alcohol, anti-anxiety drugs, and even morphine. Without prescription drugs, he could not function, sing, dance, or perform.
I love you. I really do. You have to know that.
But 6 months before his death, Jackson announced a punishing schedule of 50 concerts.
I'll be performing the songs my fans want to hear. This is it. I mean, this is really it. This is the final curtain call.
Before rehearsals began, Michael Jackson was telling everyone how excited he was about coming out and reclaiming his crown as the King of Pop, and also showing his kids what he could do on the global stage.
But behind closed doors, the promoters, AEG, were concerned that Jackson wasn't up to performing his trademark high-energy routines. They began to question health scares published by the press. His personal doctor, Conrad Murray, assured them that apart from bouts of insomnia, Jackson was in good physical condition. But not everyone was so convinced. Terry Harvey is a music promoter with close links to the Jackson family.
How fit for someone to have to be in to perform for 2.5 hours in good shape? Do I think Michael didn't have the energy or the stamina for 50 nights? He did not have the stamina to do 30 minutes.
Michael knew deep down there was no way he'd be able to perform 50 shows. Michael told people close to him he didn't know if he could do 2 shows.
So what was the truth about Jackson's fitness? Was he really up to the tour?